Hi everyone, I'm Enrique, I'm a software developer at IBM, and I'm here to talk about simplifying deploying cloud-native apps to Kubernetes. So now we're about cloud-native apps. They're just a simple application which leverages cloud technologies when deploying to the cloud, such as metrics or tracing. So talking with enterprises at IBM, it's quite difficult to deploy cloud-native applications within a huge company. So here I'm going to introduce two personas. One is Jane, let's say our lead node developer in a team. And then we have Champ, which is a solution architect. Champ specifies the distributed systems, it specifies to what cloud environments we need to deploy. This means that Jane needs to learn all of these different technologies. If we're talking about different languages, different microservice architectures, different databases, or even when you're building and deploying, Helm, Kubernetes, etc. So it's a lot for Jane to learn. So at IBM, we've decided to build a tool to simplify this. So it's something called Rhapsody, which enables you to create and compose cloud-native applications. To summarize this in one line, one simple line, it's a developer tooling to create, develop, and deploy cloud-native applications using cloud-optimized application stacks. So you may ask, what are stacks? That's what the heart of Rhapsody is. Stacks are pre-configured applications that your solutions architect will configure for the developer. So we have a look at a simple node.js application with Express. We'll have an Express server, connect, and then some application functions and some business logic. If then we want to deploy this to the cloud, we'd, for example, have to package it within a Docker container so we can deploy it to any environment. And this is really what we call nowadays in the distributed system a microservice. So from our Rhapsody, we provide a series of stacks in order to help you get started with our tool. So on the left-hand side, we have a traditional microservice using Express.js. We then provide a Node.js stack already with Docker files and Node.js versions for you to deploy your Express applications on top. We then also provide a Node.js Express stack, which already has cloud-native functionalities built in your Express, so endpoints such as metrics for Prometheus, or any sorts of app metrics dashboards for you to be doing development. And we also provide a Node.js function stack where we provide serverless functionalities for developers, for them to only need to worry about the business logic and easily deploy into Kubernetes. So we've seen what stacks are, and we've seen that normally your solution architect will define these standards, and developers will build on top of that. So how does a developer use this? We have built a CLI where the developer can pull these stacks down, test, locally debug, build, and then when she's ready, she can deploy. And the deploy considerations are also specified by your architect. So we're going to quickly go through the workflow of how this works. So your solutions architect filters and customizes your stacks. It can be Node.js, it can be any language. We can then configure these requirements for the cloud, so the way we're deploying to the cloud, maybe the amount of replicas. We can post it to a hub, a registry, and we have our developer. Using the CLI, she can pull any of the stacks that the architect has chosen to use. She can then develop her app using any IDE she wants and debug locally. Then she can save her changes to a GitHub repository, and when she's ready, she can build her final Docker image with all the specifications of her architect, plus her application on top, her microservice. Finally, she can deploy to any orchestration environment that her architect has specified. So I know you guys like to look at code and like to look at demos, so I've prepared a very short demo to really show this, and let's see if we can fit it. So we create a simple directory with my node application. I shall split this up. We cd into it. Using our Rhapsody CLI, we're going to initialize one of the Node.js Express stacks where we have a series of endpoints already built. So we're downloading a Docker image. We're then opening this in our VS Code, where it can be any editor of choice. And if we look at the left-hand side, we have our traditional package.json, an app with a root that says hello from Rhapsody. So we have Express, where we've used Express. And then we also have a series of tests already pre-built in that we can use. This is just a simple test for our root endpoint. And then we can go ahead and through our IDE, we can run our application. So we have a series already CLI enabled in our IDE, and we can go ahead and run. So this would actually pull down Docker image and run our Express application with the Docker image of our architect, with all his tools that he's made available for us. So now if we go on our localhost 3000, we should see our application saying, hello from Rhapsody. Then we can see and hit the endpoints that our architect has defined. Or, for example, we can change code. We can say, hi, hello from London user group, for example. We can save our file, and this automatically launches our application inside the Docker container. So hot reload, and we can have it again in our browser. So we can do all development locally in a Docker container that our solutions architect has defined. We can then hit a series of endpoints, such as our metrics endpoint for Prometheus in the clouds, our cloud native function. We can hit, for example, our health endpoint for Kubernetes when we're deploying inside a pod. And we even have enabled a dashboard for metrics. So we have a simple dashboard. So if we open our application in another tab and we give a few requests, we should see some HTTP requests coming and can have some tracing and metrics of our application, all through development in a Docker image. So then we can also enable profiling for more details of the stack traces and where we're losing our metrics. We hit again our application, our Express application, and we should see a series of flame graphs where we can see our stack details for all the calls we're making. So once we're ready to deploy our application, we can then go ahead and stop through the VS Code, and we can then go ahead and run a series of tests. These are tests defined by our architect, so tests for all the endpoints our solution architect has defined, and our own tests. In this case, we're using Mock. So once we've tested and everything has passed, we can then build our final Docker image, which will be used to deploy. So we go ahead again into our CLI, and we build our final Docker image with the whole application in it. Once the Docker image is built, we can then deploy it. So locally, for this demo, I've set up a Kubernetes cluster on Docker for desktop, running it localhost, and we can go ahead and deploy this application. So again, through the CLI, we deploy the application. So we should see now. So then now this will give us an endpoint. Since we're running our Kubernetes on localhost, we'll get a localhost endpoint. We can go ahead and copy this, look at our application running inside Kubernetes in a matter of minutes. I've only sped up that by 2x, by the way. So it's quite fast. So then we can hit our endpoints, our metrics endpoint for Prometheus, our health endpoints, and we don't have our dashboard here because we wouldn't need it when we're deploying in production. So to verify that we've deployed to Kubernetes, we can use a kubectl command, get our pods, and we should have our node up there. So that's just a quick demo of what Rhapsody is and how you can deploy applications and cloud-native applications in a whole company with the same configurations. Thank you for listening.